it came to picking a charity for today's tournament, it was very easy for Randy and I to decide. We chose Rady's because I'm going to try very hard not to cry, so don't kill me if I do. But it was very clear to choose Rady's because how instrumental they have been in my family. And I'm going to tell you a story about my daughter. For those of you that don't know, I never thought that I would be able to have kids. So when I found out that I was pregnant with twins, it was a double gulp and was probably the best gift I could ever get. I went 37 weeks and my daughter Olivia was born 5 pounds 15 ounces. Gabe was born 6 pounds 15 ounces. I couldn't have been more happy. It was the best day of my life. So shortly after she's born, they tell me she's breathing funny. In fact, right there in that picture is when they told me, and they took her from me and admitted her to the NICU. That was her right when they admitted her. Oli, as we call her, was in the NICU for 3 days. On day 3, the cardiologist tells me what's wrong. She has a VSD. Now, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to feed her, and they come up and they say, "We know what's wrong with your daughter. She has a hole in her heart." And I've never heard this term. I don't know what it means, and I'm like, a hole? What do you mean a hole? And they explained that in the lower wall of the heart separating the right from the left ventricles, there is a hole. So I start asking questions like, is she going to be okay? Is she going to be able to be normal? Is she going to be able to run around and play and do all the things that I want her to do? They tell me, yes, don't worry about it. Most VSDs close on their own, so I don't think that you have anything to worry about at this point. So after 4 days of observation, she's discharged and we go home. But not before being referred to the cardiology department, because with the VSD, she's got to be seen once a month to make sure everything's okay. 2 months into her life, we have our first really big scare. I will never forget this day. She turned white and her lips turned purple. And she was belting out the most bizarre scream I've ever heard. And she was gasping for air. And I called 911 and they rushed her there, and that's when they told me that she had had respiratory distress, and that had I not brought her in, she probably would have died. So respiratory distress and inability to adequately ventilate or oxygenate. After they get her oxygen levels back to 100%, they perform an echocardiogram, and the results show her VSD could be larger than originally thought. After being discharged, we're told to take Oli to the cardiologist every 2 weeks to make sure if her hole isn't getting any better, where she will get chest x-rays and physical exams each time. So for a while, things seem to be going well. She's eating, she's growing, she's doing everything that a newborn should be. Pap, as we call him, is enjoying himself, even though Gabriel's not in the picture. And Mimi's loving being a grandmother, playing dress up, which she does all the time. But then I started noticing some things that really scared me. She started looking more and more blue, all the time. Lips, eyes, everything. On top of that, she's eating less, she's breathing heavier and heavier. She started to wheeze, which was the biggest part of what was terrifying to me, because she would start gasping, she couldn't catch her breath. So we made a special appointment with her cardiologist to see what was going on and what had changed. So her cardiologist told us that we needed to have a heart catheterization, and that would allow them to determine what true actual size of her VSD and determine the best course of action, possibly open heart surgery. So we scheduled it. This was an incredibly emotional day. I think for a mom going through this, there's no way to understand the emotions that you're feeling. Every time your child goes under anesthesia, you think they're not going to wake up. And even though this is a routine procedure, it's not routine to me. So then there's the heart cath results. This day was surreal because I'm sitting in the lobby with Randy and my husband, and I'm waiting for the call that she's out. She's awake and everything's okay. And they call and they say she's okay. And I'm looking at the elevator waiting for the doctors to come out. And I see the doors open and I see the doctors coming out and they've got big smiles on their face and they're kind of laughing, and I'm thinking, maybe she won't need heart surgery. Maybe everything went great. Maybe the hole's closed in the last 3 days. I don't know, maybe this is great, I can stop worrying. So they come up and they say, well, the VSD is really big. Her heart's enlarged a lot, and we want to schedule heart surgery in the next month. At that point, everything around me became quiet, and they're talking, and I don't hear what they're saying, because all I can picture is not having my child in my life anymore. So I called Joe Strazzeri, because I don't know what else to do. I know that he's on the board at Sharp, and I know that he knows a lot of people, and I wanted to make sure that I was in the best possible hands. So he puts me in touch with Kristen Gist, who is the executive director at Rady's, an amazing woman, who puts me in touch with Dr. Lamberti's office. This is my pre-op meeting with Dr. Lamberti. I was terrified for this meeting because I had so many questions, and the biggest question that I had was, will her heart start beating again? And I'll never forget this, Dr. Lamberti, because I said to you, I'm scared her heart's not going to start beating once everything's done. And you said to me, I'm not supposed to say this, but it always starts beating. And at that point, this enormous weight lifted from my shoulders. And I thought, I can do this. She can do this. We can do this. So here's the day of the surgery. The waiting game. I think that's probably the hardest part. Waiting for your child to be taken away, not to know the true outcome. Even though you're told everything will be fine, you're worried. This is the last time you're ever going to see your child. This is her right out of open heart surgery. There are no words to explain what it is like to see your child like that. And the nurses were so amazing because they said to me, even though she's hooked up to all of these things, she's gonna be okay. She's gonna be okay. So I'm talking to Lamberti and his team about her and what went on, and they're telling me everything went great. There were no complications. It was smooth. It was good. Stop worrying. This is her day 2. She starts eating. She's getting more tubes pulled out. This is her day 3. All the tubes and wires are almost out. Day 4, all wires are out, and she's doing great. For those of you that have seen Randy's pictures, this girl smiles more than I've ever seen, and this is all that we were waiting for out of the recovery. Day 4, we go home, which is amazing. 4 days. From what I thought was the end of the world for my daughter and my family and everything that I knew that I had just become. We're going home and we're together. This is day 5. Trying to do tummy time after surgery, which was just crazy, but she did it. Day 6, she's jumping in her bouncy saucer, which was even crazier. Day 7. I love this picture because since the birth of Olivia, I had never seen rosy cheeks. And she's got rosy cheeks in this picture, and I love it because I knew she was better right here. Standing up, Ann Murphy bought her this outfit, and thank you. Day 8, the very last dairy strip falls off. Which, day 8 after open heart surgery, I was just amazed looking at her, and this is after major surgery. This is her today. You can barely see the scar. Thank you, Dr. Lamberti, for doing the incision that way, so no one will see it. This is her being the girl she is, which is a very girly girl. I mean, life, it truly, it would not be the same had her little heart not been fixed. It's her and her brother, they hold hands all the time. I mean, I don't even know how to express my gratitude to go through something like this, which is so unbelievably emotionally wrenching. There are people like Dr. Lamberti and his team of surgeons that make it all possible for us to have children go through things and come out on the other end and be okay. So thank you. I mean, we really are forever your dad. So thank you very, very much.